Good morning, everyone. Good Sunday morning. Welcome back to VinylSpin Cafe. Becky's not here today, but we have Goldie. Say hi. Goldie is my mascot. Becky designed him a few years back, and she has her own mascot for her channel as well. And I really like it. Everyone should have a mascot of some sort. I have Goldie. Today's episode I'm going to be showing some things that are new in my bin, as always, that I do every Sunday. And I'm also going to be doing my pet peeves with record stores. I have 10 pet peeves. It's hard when I don't have Becky with me. I forget what it's like not having my daughter with me in the episode. We usually feed off of each other. So, Goldie, tell people to subscribe. Yeah, right. Folks, if you don't know what this is all about, my name is Mark, and I do this episode with my daughter every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Atlantic Standard, Halifax time. And if you don't want to miss it, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you do not miss any of our episodes. Thank you to all the current subscribers. So let's get right into this. I'm going to do New in the Bin. Now, last episode, Becky was talking about the Green Day album. This is the one that just came in the mail. I think it came from Warner Brothers Canada. But this is really interesting. It's really nice. I like it. It's clear. It has, I forget what they said, unicorn puke or something like that. But this is the other one. They have 3 versions of the Green Day album. This is getting a lot of mixed reviews, the Green Day album is. A lot of people are looking for the old Green Day, you know, Dookie and stuff like that, but people are given mixed reviews. They just, do not like it. They say it's too radio-like. I don't know, I like it. But here's the good news, folks. If you're a Green Day fan, and you probably already know this, Green Day has announced that they have other songs ready to go. So we're probably going to see another album. I don't know if it's going to be in 2020 or 2021, or I don't know. But, and another thing, outside of Green Day, I've been looking for the release date of Neil Young's homegrown album. Now, I seen, and I don't know if it's official, it's being released as a record store day item. I don't know. If you guys have seen anything related to this, let me know in the comments. I don't like this because I have no store around that offers record store day records. So I would have to travel over almost an hour and a half one way to get this album, and I really want it. Now, I know that you can get albums, record store day albums, outside of record store day, but I really think this long anticipated album should have not, if it's true, come out on record store day and only available through that route. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. But I seen it on a website, and it blew my mind away when I seen that that's when it's going to be released. So, new in the bin, few down here. As always, I'm not going to show everything because I don't want to bore everyone. I have this album. It's called Love Zombies. Love Zombies. I don't want to do a close-up on this because that's a painting of a naked woman. This is on Virgin Records here. It's a jazz kind of a album, and I really like the sound of it. It's very different. Never heard of it before, and I decided to give it a chance, and it turns out I really like it. Matt Minglewood. I showed Matt's stuff when a while back, but I was able to find his very first album, and this is the Minglewood Band. And I was describing to one of the record dealers, I said, do you have any Matt Minglewood? He showed me all these other ones. I said, listen, I want the first one. And he goes, well, what's it look like? I said, it's all red and it has a tree on his head. He had no idea what I was talking about. But if you're watching, this is the tree on Matt Minglewood's head. We got Michael Murphy, cheap album, Blue Sky, Night Thunder. A relaxing country album, not bad. Another bluegrass album, genuine acoustic bluegrass. And I have a few more. This one here is Emmett Roots. This is a gatefold. And I don't know much about this individual. But when I was listening to it, like on my app, I decided to, that's how I find out about other artists. I was listening to it and I said, well, let's have a listen. It kind of gave me like a Beatles vibe, kind of. I want to show you something here. These gatefolds here, this is 4mm. Now, see, I still have the strip here. If you watch some of my other videos, I describe these. I don't bother sealing up on the inside. And the 4mm, what it will do when you see there's a crease there, when I close it up, it'll crease that over and give it a nice crisp spot. I find when I do my gatefolds, when I used to seal them, it would bunch up in the middle. Now I don't seal them, and I just leave it like that. But I seal the outside, and it's really nice. Just a little FYI, maybe you might want to try that. Two more I will show you, and then we'll get into my pet peeves. Legend of the Wu-Tang. I got this for Becky for Christmas, and she never opened it, and I asked her why. She said, well, Dad, I didn't want to offend you, but I don't really care for them. And I'm like, well, I like them. So I put it back in my collection. And I have an Alan Jackson record. This is Precious Memories Collection, Alan Jackson. It's a gatefold. It's gospel music. I'm not a big gospel fan, but I love Alan Jackson. I love his voice, and I'm hoping that he brings out some more records. I hope they repress all of his records. I really do. So if you're an Alan Jackson fan, I highly recommend this. There's not many records of Alan Jackson that are valuable on the market. But if you want a record, that's a record of Alan Jackson. Now I just want to say that not all record stores this applies to. A lot of record stores that have been well established over the years, they already know a lot of this stuff. I find this to be with a lot of the new record stores. Now I've been across record stores all across Canada, almost every province. I've been to Germany. I've been other record stores across the world as well. And some of these are some of the things that pet peeves that I found that I really don't like seeing record stores doing. Now these aren't in order based on top 10. They're just as they came off of out of my head. The number one thing, packing records too tightly. I really do not like trying to flip through records that are so snug tight. So I have to say that's probably my number one pet peeve. Because then I got to take out a handful of the records just so I can see them. Now I have passed over records because I got fed up of trying to see what the records were. And if there's people sitting beside me or standing beside me flipping and I have to take out 10 records, where the hell am I going to put them? I'm just going to hold them like this and try to flip through. I say you have to have at least 10 record space in each cubicle that you have so your customers can actually see what you have. Number two, resealing records to a point that you cannot check the condition. We're talking about used records. Now I've been to some record stores that they put a sticker on there, they do their own grading, they say it's a Fiji Plus or a Mint or what have you, and then they put it in a jacket and they'll take some Scotch tape and tell you not to open it. You're not allowed to look at the condition of that record because it's a rare record or something, or ask for assistance or some BS like that. When you're resealing records and I can't look at the condition of a second-hand record, I walk on by. If it's worth that much to you that I can't look at it and I have to ask for assistance, then I don't bother buying it. And that's like saying that I have to take your grading as gospel, and we all know grading records is very controversial. We can all agree differently. Putting stickers on the jacket itself. I think pretty well almost every damn record store I've ever been to actually do that. And they do that because they're afraid that if they put it on the outer sleeve, understandable, that that outer sleeve will be moved from one record to another record. So it's like price swapping. Do people really do that? I don't know. That's a little bit paranoid there. But by putting the sticker right on the jacket, I've had jackets, sleeves, that I try to peel it off and I get halfway off and I can see that it's peeling off some of the jacket. I stop and I have to live with it because I don't want to rip my record. Or start YouTubing, finding out remedies on how to get stickers, price stickers off of records with Goo Gone, or whatever it is. My suggestion, even though it's not pretty, maybe use painter's tape. Painter's tape isn't as sticky and it won't tear away anything off of the jacket. It's not as pretty. You can't put it in your printer and print off 1,000 stickers for your records, but at least you're thinking about the customer. Now this one, it happens not too often, but when it does, it really annoys me. So number 4 is lingering owners or workers. Now when record stores are quiet and there's not many people around, sometimes I found that they want to interact with you, but are they really interacting with you? I have been to some record stores that they're just looking to see what you're picking out so that they can run off and try to introduce you to other albums by that particular artist. I find it very disrupting. I go to a record store so that I can relax, flip through, take my time. I'm a very private person, even though I'm on YouTube, but I go to record stores to relax, to pick through. I do not need record store owners or employees trying to force things onto me. So bottom line, leave your customers alone unless they approach you. After all, you may be disrupting them and they may miss an album, and you may lose a sale because of it. Number 5, keeping the outer sleeves. Sounds strange, but it happens a lot. I've been to many stores and they were so cheap that they don't want you to leave with their sleeves. They take the sleeve off and they use it for another album to put onto their shelf. It really ticks me off when this happens because it tells me that you don't care about the record once it leaves your store and you're just caring about saving a little bit of money on sleeves. I mean, there's sleeves out there that are really cheap that you can get them probably for 10 cents. I'm sure you're making enough on used records that you can afford to allow that sleeve to go with the customer to help protect the record. It could be raining outside, and sometimes they don't even offer you a bag. Number 6, not knowing your regular customers. I think this should be one of your primary things that you should, as a record store, and you're saying, hey, what the hell do you know? You don't own a record store. You're absolutely right. But without your customers, you don't have a record store. All you got is a storage place for a bunch of records. You should be paying attention to who's coming in and learning about them. Now, if you're in a big city, it might be hard to do that. But I don't think so. Because I came from Kingston, Ontario, and in Kingston, Ontario they had 180,000 people. And there was a record store there that I would go into. On average, they would have about 100, 150 customers, if not more, come in on a daily basis. Because it was right next to the university. And I could go in there once a month, and that particular owner knew exactly what kind of music I listened to and what may interest me. And he was always not approaching me, but when I go up to the till, he would ask, have you heard about this artist or whatever? And he wasn't trying to sell me those records. He was trying to introduce me to them. And if I showed interest, then I would ask, well, can you put one on so I can listen to it? So getting to know your regular customers that come on in regularly, whether it's once a week, once a month, to me that's considered a regular customer. Number 7. This is an interesting one because we're in a new technology world now and we carry our phones everywhere. And that is assuming that the customer is doing a price check when they have an album in their hand and are looking at their phone. 99% of the time when I have an album in my hand and I'm looking at my phone, if the phone is close enough to my head, it's because I can't hear over top of your music in your store, no problem, but I'm trying to hear what that particular album sounds like, either through Discogs or YouTube. And that's how I discover new artists within the store. I've had store owners, when they seen me looking at the phone, they would try to automatically get defensive and jump in and say and start justifying the price of an album, or it was a good condition album or something like that, not realizing I wasn't even looking at the price. I was seeing if I liked the album or not. But if you are looking at the price and doing research, that's your right, so who cares? Number 8, not being appreciative of what you have bought from them. Meaning, now this hasn't happened to me very often, but it really rubbed me the wrong way. I went into a store and I bought like $175 worth of records. And this particular store had other merchandise, some pot smoking merchandise, paraphernalia or whatever you want to call it, posters, t-shirts. And even though I was buying a lot of the albums, you try to force, jokingly, sales of other things. You sure you don't want this? You sure you don't want that? You sure you don't? Listen, if I'm buying records and I'm not even looking at anything other than records in your store, be appreciative that I'm actually buying a lot. $175 from one customer is a lot of money. So be appreciative of every cent that you make from a customer walking in their door. Number 9, charging tax. I'm not going to go into big details on this, but there's a lot of used record stores out there that have to charge tax, but they don't give you a receipt. If you're going to charge tax, and not take that money for yourself, at least give a receipt. Because otherwise it looks like, to me, as a realist, that you're using the tax and jacking up the price just so you can make a little bit of extra money. And lastly, and I think this is really important, and I ran into this not too long ago, not having a new in the bin. New arrivals, it's very simple. Now, how long do you keep those in there before you sort them out to your other bins? I think that's up to the store owner, but at least have a section for new arrivals. When I go into a store for the very first time, I make sure that my family knows that I'm going to be gone for a few hours, and I will go through every single record in your store. That takes a long time, and if you don't have a new arrival and you sort them all right away in the bins, that's telling me that you're trying to sell other things in your store and you're forcing me to look through all your records. I don't have time. I dedicated my time the first time I came through your store. The next time I come through your store, I like to see the new arrivals and look in that bin and keep up with that. Just because you put them right out to the floor right away doesn't mean you're going to sell other things that I looked at already. That is my top 10. And I'm sorry if this upsets some record store owners, because you may actually do some of these things. But as a customer myself, these are my pet peeves and may not be other customers. They are my opinions, and that's how I roll. Let me know in the comments some of your pet peeves. It doesn't have to be just record stores. It could be record collectors, record buyers, record anything. Some of your pet peeves, let me know in the comments. I'll be interested to hear them, and also tell me if you relate to any of these. These are not really big deal items. And it's not going to prevent me from buying from your store, but they're just my pet peeves. Thank you for watching Golden Final Spin, and I will see you same place, same time, next Sunday, 9 a.m. Atlantic, Halifax time, and Becky will be sitting here, hopefully feeling better. Thank you for watching Golden Final Spin. Remember, keep spinning.